Hi y'all, thanks for checking out my video. This video will discuss real quick just some tips and things you should have in mind when you're looking to create or focus on gathering, um, and mainly for the newer players who haven't played a whole lot. Just some things to keep in mind to maximize your efficiency and speed when you're out there gathering your resource nodes. So the first thing I want to mention, so my character is a Nightblade, and currently I'm focused in Magicka, Nightblade Magicka build. But initially I was Nightblade Stamina, so I have since respec'd my attributes. But the key thing when you're focused on gathering resources is you want to have stamina in mind. So when you're allocating those first 50 attributes when you level up, you want to put everything into stamina. That will also help you with your DPS, but in particular when you're focused on gathering, you want to have as much stamina as possible, stamina recovery, to make sure that you're able to sprint and get to those resource nodes as quickly as possible for as long as possible without running out of stamina. As some of you probably already know, you get to some of the more competitive zones like Craglorn, and getting to those nodes quicker than the next guy is peak importance. So make sure you allocate those first 50 skill points to your stamina. Next thing I want to keep in mind is food. So when you're going to go out gathering your resource nodes, you want to have food that will benefit stamina recovery. For me, I choose to use this blue recipe, or Zorga's Tripe Trifle Pocket. That gives me 457 stamina recovery. It's a 2-hour duration, which is usually about the length of time I spend gathering at one go. So buy yourself a stack of 100. They're not super expensive, and they will benefit you fine. And when you've even running a Magicka build now, when I go out gathering, this does me fine. I find very few occasions where I'm running out of stamina or unable to sprint and have to wait to recover. So Zorga's Triple Trifle Pocket. So the next thing you want to look at is a 5-set piece of equipment that's going to give you a 5-set bonus that benefits your particular build and what you're struggling with. So you may want to give it some time, figure out what you're struggling with, be it max stamina, recovery end, or even the speed. In my case, I always carry with me this 5-set piece, the Coward's Gear. Kept it at purple. There's no need to have it at yellow because I don't use it when I'm out crawling dungeons or experience grinding. So the Coward's Gear, the key thing for me is it gives me this 5-piece bonus, which gives me constant 30% speed. It's not super expensive. You can find it on Guild Traders for around 2,000 gold a piece. That's on PC. And the 5-piece bonus does me fine. Gives me a 30% sprint. So whenever I'm sprinting, I'm going 30% faster than I normally would. Next thing to keep in mind is your skills. So I'll talk about the crafting skills first. I have found through my time gathering that spending 1 point in these keen eye skills is fine for me. I have my runs in most of the zones that I use, and just having the 1 in each of these skills is sufficient enough to highlight it when I'm looking for new nodes. So don't bother spending your other 2 skill points in it. You really don't need it. So blacksmithing. So the other thing I would say is in enchanting, I didn't spend any points here because I do not have a problem noticing the runes. They come with their own highlight, and they're pretty easy to spot when you're out in the world. So I would leave that empty unless you're really having problems locating it, in which case you can throw a point to it. The other thing I would strongly suggest doing is spend some time PvPing and get yourself this skill, Charging Maneuver. Now you got to kick this skill off, but it does have a 33-second duration. And for any of you new players who have been on your mount, or you've been sprinting and you see somebody else come flying by you, they are using Charging Maneuver. This also affects your mount speed, which is huge, especially when you're in a big zone like Craglorn trying to jump around from area to area. This increases your mount speed by 30%, so once you get max mount speed, the 30% on top of it, you're absolutely flying. So spend some time in PvP to pick that skill up. You will thank me later. Alright, so that's it for those. And then the other thing I wanted to mention here is when you're spending your CP, as it pertains to gathering, the key tree you want to focus on is Lover. And the Lover tree provides you with plentiful harvest, and this gives you a 10% chance to get double the yield when you're farming your nodes. This does kick off quite often, especially if you're spending a couple hours out there farming. So spend, it's only 10 points, that'll be huge. The next big one you want to get is Master Gatherer. So this one reduces your gathering time by 50%, does take 75 points, but if you're focused on gathering, you want to get to this. Any of you guys who've been competing for nodes out there, you'll have seen the guy where he takes one swing with the pick, one swing with the axe, and he's done gathering the node while you're whacking away. That's because they have Master Gatherer. Cuts your time in half, makes it extremely efficient when you're out there farming your nodes. And that's pretty much it. Keep those in mind. So spend your skill points, your first 50 levels, in your stamina. Get yourself a 5-piece set. There are other 5-piece sets out there besides the one I use, which maximizes my sprint speed. You can get some that reduces the sprint cost. I believe that's called Prisoners. There are some out there, focus on stamina recovery. As far as enchantments go, for your farming gear, you want to make sure your enchantment is either adding stamina or stamina based. For some of your jewelry, you might want stamina recovery. If you're going to get that far into it, I don't find I need to. The Orzoga's pocket does me fine as far as recovery is concerned, even with a magical build. And then spend your points wisely. Focus on that Lover. Get that Master Gatherer to cut your 50% resource time in half, and that will benefit you in the long run. So look for more videos from me. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'll be adding them regularly. And I thank you for watching.